podcast, episode 28. Whoop, whoop.
Colin and Olga, hello.
Yes. Hello.
I feel like it was just
Welcome to
1
the
week
show.
ago when we did another podcast.
It was just 1 week ago. You are correct.
But that didn't stop the news from happening, I suppose.
It does not.
You found some stuff. What did you want to go with first, Captain?
Looks like Pinhead Gunpowder has a new release. It's Billy Joel Armstrong's other band. He mentioned it on his Instagram. Looks like there'll be music coming, so that'll be exciting.
I think they're really old. I should have looked up their bio. I think they're also doing this in collaboration, or not collaboration, but at the same time, they're like re-releasing all the albums. Wasn't that it?
Yeah, they are re-releasing. I think they did a live stream recently because I happened to have watched it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think they did a live stream. That
1991. I knew they were old. Oh, and it's got the other guitar player, number 4, Quattro.
Oh. Okay.
So, that's right. He used to be in the band as the hired gun guitar player that went on tour with them, right? And then they made him a real member of the band.
That's crazy.
And then that guy quit the band, but not the band. He just didn't want to be a member anymore. He wanted to be the hired gun again. So that's what I think that's what he is to this day.
I think I've never heard of somebody wanting that.
I don't quite, it must be money. It must have been, we'll pay you more money just to show up and it only takes up half your time. If you're a full-time member of the band, you only get paid royalties and whatever, whatever your share is.
But that's Green Day. Like, if you're not successful as a Green Day musician, I don't know what hope anyone else has.
But think about it. He wasn't a band member for Dookie or American Idiot or anything in between. So the 30 million copies that they're all getting money for on a regular basis, he doesn't get any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's in Pinhead Pinhead Gunpowder.
Instead, maybe he makes more money doing that. I don't know.
I think it's probably like an hourly rate. He makes more as a hired gun. That's what I'm guessing.
Maybe.
Like I was saying, half the time, 2/3 of the pay, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe, I don't know. The only reason I could see that is like if I just didn't like the music, and then you're like, I'll just show up and play because I'm a good musician.
You don't like hanging out with the band? Like you go to the recording studio, they don't listen to anything you have to say anyway.
Yeah,
and then you're just like, this sucks. Just call me when you guys are ready to play some shows. Maybe that's how it is.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds crazy. There's got to be a story behind there somewhere.
We'll find out, and we'll do it on another episode.
Yeah. There's got to be something.
And more news.
Speaking of established punk rockers, Fat Mike, like when we first started this podcast, maybe our first or second episode, we talked about how Fat Mike was going to do a podcast. Yes. It was supposed to be called Safe Words. There's also already, I think, a podcast named that because I was trying to search for it and see if it ever comes out. Mm-hmm. It never did come out, but now he does have a new podcast, and it does not seem to be about, originally it was supposed to be kind of like a sex advice podcast, I believe. And so now he does have a podcast, but it seems to be, from what I've gathered so far, just like a pretty typical, I'm a musician, I have a podcast. Nothing wrong with that. No hate there, but it's not sex advice. So it's just like interviews and talking about music and stuff.
Yeah. So he's got
similar to what we are doing, but with better connections.
He has 4 guests. So 4 episodes thus far. Melvin was his first guest.
Nice.
He had a dude from Cobra Kai. He had that lady that has the nub arms and legs. And then Sean Whalen from Men in Black, which I don't know who that is, I guess. But so it's just performers, entertainers, musicians, artists,
and friends.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much the same as every other podcast.
Yeah, and he's been on a bunch of podcasts as a guest. All those people owe him an episode too. So there you go.
So it is funny how we brought up that podcast that never happened.
Yeah.
And then also, I think we had gone 3 or 4 episodes without mentioning Fat Mike.
Oh, but we just broke
But now we just did it again. So,
okay.
I mean, we had to have our weekly Fat Mike update, which we haven't had in months. And then we had the 7-month gap, of course. But
yes. but we were still observing him in that 7 months. We just were not recording podcast episodes to discuss.
I'll check it out eventually. I know I will. The episodes aren't long. So I was looking 25 minutes, 45 minutes, 27 minutes. That's pretty short.
Yeah.
Because I was figuring he was going to do the long form, several hour interview thing, but 20 minutes, that's a you and I type of interview.
Yeah, I like it. And Fat Mike just does so many things. Like I always say, whenever we discuss him, it's kind of intense. He must not sleep or something because, he does a lot of side projects and all those things. Those things take time, even like little.
Yeah, he's got a production crew. They mentioned just a couple of other people, and so it's something. Yeah. It's got the co-guest Sam King, co-host.
Oh.
I remember that during his the thing when he had that party in his backyard weekend at Fatty's, that the lead singer of Get Dead talked about how he's painting houses in San Jose was his job. And so I was like, oh, Bay Area. That's why the whole point of this long-winded explanation of who this guy is. He's from the Bay Area, and so are we. So that was our connection.
That is our connection.
Although Fat Records is from San Francisco, so that's pretty fine as a connection already.
That's true.
But anyway.
I've been to some of their parties. They do like selling record release parties.
Yes.
I guess they have gotten a lot less exciting during COVID. They still
I would think so.
merch, but there's not so much of a party aspect to it.
Yeah.
But it is near. It's in Bay Area, so it's something fun to check out.
Indeed. And then next up, we had Aaron Patrick from Bury Your Dead. And All That Remains joins D.R.U.G.S, D.R.U.G.S, a band that I never got into because that was during the alternative press transitional phase from, how would you just say it? There was the alternative press AFI era, / Thrice, / Newfound Glory, / My Chemical Romance. And then Drugs was the next one after, like Black Veil Brides, Drugs. And the singer of that Drugs band is the singer of Chiodos. And that was just one generation too far beyond where I didn't keep up with that one.
And they're going on tour now, and they're not coming to Bay Area, so bummer.
But they reformed.
Yes.
So that was something that was newsworthy in itself. The Drugs were coming back. Drugs are coming back. Just sounds funny.
Drugs are back, good people. You heard it here first. And Drugs stands for
Rebuild Until God Shows.
Yeah.
Led by Craig Owens.
Yep.
There we go. And then next up, so this was a story. I was looking up news. What's going on in the news? And I look up Lunachicks movie. And I get so excited. I'm like, oh, there's going to be a Lunachicks movie. Awesome. And then I go look at it. And it's, there's a movie called Lunachicks. It's a short. It's 15 minutes long. It has nothing to do with the Lunachicks. And then I got mad. I'm like, oh, man, I was misled. But anyway, though.
You were bamboozled.
But the movie is about punk rock chicks.
Oh.
Right? So it's still cool.
Still cool.
And then
it's even weirder to use the same name in the same genre.
Yeah. So it's weird because I'm trying to find stuff about it. I mean, this is a pretty underground thing, but on the flyer that they made, one of the flyers they made had like a Spotify collage of the Lunachicks band next to a movie ticket for this movie. So it's incredibly misleading, but they must know they named the movie the same name as that band. They used it on a flyer, or at least someone put it on the flyer. Maybe the director didn't do it.
Oh.
But it's supposed to be a short, dark comedy. Like I said, 15 minutes. And it's playing at like First Glance Film Festival, and it's going on May 12th through the 15th in Los Angeles. So that's quite some time. And also in October to Philadelphia. So, okay. So there's plenty of time to get hip with this movie. I'll put the link in. That way, when it comes out, we can all watch it and check it out. Because after going to look it all up, now I want to see it. So,
yeah.
It's about a serial killer's daughter who navigates her fractured identity as she responds to an ad in hopes of making a friend. Instead, she meets fierce punk Berlin, who's forming a band, and it's an expressionism inspired film, and it has to do with frustration of being a woman and a quest for friendship. So I'm like, okay, sounds good. I'm in. Count me in for Lunachicks. The band, Lunachicks book that I bought that I haven't read yet. Now I remember that I bought the book. Now I can go read it and I can talk about it here. And then Lunachicks movie, which has nothing to do with Lunachicks, but I still want to see it.
Oh yeah, I also have a book I would like to read that I have.
Is it Punk?
Yes, it's Sellout. I think you have it too. It is about, there was a period in time where a bunch of bands got onto major labels. So he talks about 11 bands that kind of all signed to major labels in the same sort of time frame. Green Day, Jawbreaker, Jimmy Eat World, Blink-182, The Drive-In, The Donnas, Thursday, The Distillers, My Chemical Romance, Rise Against, and Against Me.
Cool.
So I'm really excited to read it, but
that thing looks like a beast. How many pages is that?
It does look like a beast.
I got my Lunachicks. See, the reason why I forgot I had the Lunachicks book is because it's the digital thing, and it's just sitting there on my little Kindle tab thing. So I don't look at it on a daily basis and then remember to go read it. But that thing's pretty thick that you're holding.
All right, it is 370 pages.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not outrageous. It looks bigger on the webcast.
Yeah, because I have the hard.
Okay, 370, that's acceptable.
Yeah, but it's it's interesting topic.
Yeah.
I just have to read it. So.
Well, then when we do our book review, we'll add that one. We'll do Lunachicks, and then there was a couple others. There's a new ska book about Bay Area ska scene. I have that. I didn't read it yet either, and
it's
I think
just so much. It's like, do you record the podcast? Do you read a book? Yes. I don't have enough.
There's no time.
There's really no time. What am I so busy doing? I have no idea. The time just goes. I don't know what I'm doing. I couldn't tell you.
And then in other news, semi kind of related, I started moving away from the music because I was looking up this Lunachicks movie thing, and then I stumbled across a play, and it's called Adobe Punk. And I didn't understand. At first I thought Adobe was making some sort of PDF program, and they were just throwing in the word punk like everybody does when they're trying to sell something weird. But no, it has nothing to do with it. It's actually a play, and it's from this cool place. And it's like, let me see here if I can grab my tab. Here we go. So in February and March, they're going to do an in-progress reading and an interactive panel and audience discussion. And this is from, what's this place called? The Plaza de la Raza's Margot Albert Theater in Los Angeles. They're going to actually have the world premiere March 19th through April 3rd. So I want to see this somehow, but I mean, it's in LA. But maybe there'll be a recording, and since it's a pandemic, maybe they'll live stream it. So I'll put the link there below, and then we can check it out because this sounds cool too. It is the organization About Productions. There we go. It's an educational program, perspectives on history, humanity, and culture, and creative, artistic community dialogue. And they're going to have youth and old people involved in it. And it just sounds like a really cool place. So definitely going to look into that. And then it was a story about early 80s working class punk musicians in Los Angeles who are squatting. And there you go. Squatters, early 80s punk. So it'll be like a cool thing.
That is cool. Except when you say squat, I think of the move.
The weightlifting move, squatting.
The weightlifting move, squat. And I'm like, whoa, well, punk's that squat. And then I realized, different kind of squat. Also,
different kind of squat.
Also interesting, but, just very different from what I was thinking.
But I just thought that was cool. A movie to see. a play to check out. We talk about music to listen to. We're covering it all. We got books to read.
Yep.
All
I
right.
mean, I would also watch a play about punks doing squats.
Yeah. Well, I mean, watch a play about punks doing anything, really.
That's right. I mean,
you went to the Green Day play?
I did the Green Day musical. It was the only musical I've ever enjoyed in my life.
Oh, wow.
I don't like musicals. I like music. I do not like musicals at all, but it was pretty fun. Oh, okay. I'm lying. Book of Mormon was another musical I've enjoyed.
Okay.
There's been two that I've enjoyed, but it was really fun because it is like Green Day music and people are just like dancing and running around on stage. So yes, I liked it.
And back to the music, we had news that AntiFlag is recording again.
I can't find anything about that in the news sources, I think. But I did see them posting something about it on their social media. So
I wonder if they'll put it out on their own label.
They're doing an in studio, or they're. It sounds like I think they mentioned they're doing a full length album.
Okay,
and I think this is like number 17 or something like that.
That's unbelievable.
That's insane. I don't know. Yeah,
I got into them. Underground Network was when I think the big peak for me. But before that, they had a song called Someone's Gonna Die Tonight, and it was on, what was that, emusic.com. This was like 1999. Wow. And that's where I first heard them. I'm like, this band's cool, one song. And then I got a job working in a magazine, then it was Underground Network. I still think Underground Network is their best album.
Yeah.
But apparently I'm wrong. No one says Underground Network's their best album, at least on the internet, with the two other top album websites that I looked up.
I would say that if I know one thing about the internet is people are wrong on the internet.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure. I don't have sources because I don't believe in sources.
Okay.
Yeah. So
when you're on a podcast, you don't need sources.
Nope.
That's the whole point.
That is the whole point. You are an authority.
That's what we've learned, haven't we?
Making, everything. That's how it goes, people.
You get news from people like us who have no sources and are just going full on opinion.
All it takes is a microphone and you are right.
I mean, it's a good thing we talk about music and not anything life or death here. Because if I say that Underground Network is the best AntiFlag album and then I'm wrong, could you imagine if we were talking about medication to take to, save your life from a global pandemic or something? I mean,
I could not.
Silly.
Yeah, I would feel pretty responsible.
Good thing.
Good thing.
And then I wanted to talk briefly about a new release from Beretta. And so the reason why is because I started working in a music magazine, and one of my coworkers / bosses, he would say to me, you got to check out this band, Beretta. You really do. You really do. And I was just like, okay, I'll get around to it. And then I finally listened to it. I'm like, okay, it's good, but why all the hype? And this was like right when I first started work there. I never understood why all the hype. But then I realized now he was trying to get me to review the album so we could get ad sales from the record label. But at the time I was like, wow, you really like this band. Why do you keep trying to get me to listen to it? But anyway, they're good. So I don't have a problem with them. But the reason I wanted to mention is because they're putting out a single, Real America, and it's got Thomas Barnett from Strike Anywhere doing guest vocals, and cool. I like Strike Anywhere, so that was why I wanted to mention that, and also because the story of why I know Beretta.
That is pretty funny. Is Strike Anywhere doing anything anymore? I feel like
they do. I remember
they had a new song.
Pandemic. Yeah, at the beginning of pandemic, I do remember they had a new song come out. They're like, what do I call them? They're like the Rise Against that stayed underground.
Yeah.
And that guy's vocals are pretty rough, but their songs are so catchy, hardcore.
Yeah.
But man, they got their intros. Anyway, Strike Anywhere, great band. Got to go check them out if you have not.
Yep.
What do you call that? Hardcore, melodic hardcore, but they're not. The guy's vocals are so gruff. It's hard to call something melodic hardcore, but they play music like Rise Against, where I'm like, well, it's very melodic hardcore. So, what are you gonna do? That was all the news I had. Did you have any other news before we move on?
And then didn't we have one more release?
What did we have? So, in other news, we had another new release. And it was Verne with Manic Depressive. And Verne, they sent us an email. Is that correct? Or an Instagram message or some sort of thing?
Yes.
And it was good. So I was excited.
It was good.
It's always awesome when a band says, hey, check out my band. And you do. And you're like, oh, I'm glad I did because that was awesome punk. And the only thing, I don't know what the words are. I don't know what the songs are because we just listened to it. I don't know anything about the band.
Yeah.
But I'm going to now look into them and be excited when their stuff comes out because it was good. And I just lost the link.
Yeah, it's on, it'll be on Bandcamp and on YouTube. And sounds like there's going to be a mini LP released this summer. So sounds like there will be more.
Excellent. So now, yeah, you're right. Mini LP 722 Verne. Verne from Nantes. Must be a city, but that band is awesome. Yeah, rock band from Nantes. If that's how you say it. Well, anyway, the song Manic Depressive, it was released February 3rd. So this is basically brand new stuff, this month.
Ooh. Yeah, fresh.
And so, so that's the news for us. We got to check out Verne 722 when the mini LP comes out, and then we'll give it the full talkie talk. Because at that point, I'll probably have looked into something by then.
Ooh, okay.
And
then do you have a grudge this week?
It was a serious grudge.
What is it? Oh,
so
okay.
We've been trying to find news every week to talk about. And so I'll go on Twitter and I'll type in #punk, #punk news, anything I can think of. But how often do I actually get any punk news from doing that? Never, because this last time I looked it up, it was this naked lady. Well, not naked, but she was like wearing lingerie and like all this. I was like, what does this have to do with punk? I have no idea. I just wanted punk news. But then there's this naked lady thing. But anyway, if you want to look at the lady in lingerie, just do #punk and you'll find it. And I mean, the lady looks good. That's fine. I didn't have any problem there, but it was just disconnect from what I'm looking for.
What you were looking
and then,
for.
So I'm like, fine. That was annoying, but I'll just keep scrolling. So I scroll through. And then it's about cryptocurrency. So what the heck? Crypto punk, NFTs. This is not good for me. This doesn't make me happy. This was grudge worthy when all I'm trying to do is look up what's going on in the world of punk. And all I see is lingerie lady and cryptocurrency stuff, which both I'm totally fine with. No. I just didn't want it right then.
Yeah, no. That's not what you're looking for.
So now I'm annoyed. Where am I going to go find this information? And then you're telling me I got to go on Instagram. I don't have one.
Apparently.
So this is just hard. It's a hard world.
I don't know what to tell you. You
can go on Reddit, but again, man, I don't know what I'm going to find there. That could be even worse. And then it just gets worse from there. So we try our best.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what I'm getting at. That's all I can do.
Yeah. It's a dangerous slope. Sometimes you start looking for one thing, before you know it, you're onto something. Yeah,
that's what I'm scared.
And speaking,
what am I going to find? It's not going to be what I'm looking for, but it'll be something.
And then my grudge this week is also kind of relevant towards you want something and it's not what you're looking for. I had to make a call. It was like a government agency and they had hold music, and that's already bad enough. But it wasn't even music that kept going. It was about a 45-second clip that they just kept replaying over and over. And then every minute they would tell you that you have an hour and 10 left. Now you have an hour and 9 left, and so on. And that was kind of the worst torture I've endured recently.
Having to make a phone call already is bad news.
It's exactly, having to make the call is bad. I'm not even complaining about the hour 10 minutes on hold. That's
the norm.
Feels like easy. That's normal, and that feels easy compared to having to listen to the same song in a 1-minute loop for over an hour. I don't even know how I did not lose it and end up needing to be
And the fact that you had to make a phone, I still can't get over it. Yeah, you had to make a phone call when we all know in the modern world, if you're making a phone call, there are very few reasons. Someone has died, you were in the hospital, you're in jail, someone you know is in jail. And I think that's it. There's no other reason to make a phone call music.
And so it was, and I was like, why do we even need hold music? If I'm going to wait for an hour, this is not actually helping me make it more palatable. This is actually making it worse because now I can't listen to music I like for an hour. I can't listen to anything else for over an hour. So in fact, I spent an hour troubleshooting and I figured it out on my own. And 5 minutes before I was supposed to talk to somebody, I hung up.
So that just goes back to what I was saying. There really was no need to make that phone call in the first place.
Correct.
Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That was everything I had. We're wrapping it up here. Thank you for joining us. Over and out.